Hello, dear children. Today I want to ask you a question. How blessed are you? Start counting your merits right now because self-realization is the key to glory. Once in your lifetime, don't forget to ask a question to yourself the goals and aspirations that you had looked forward so far. Or, where can I find myself so contented and satisfied? There you'll get the answer, the ultimate way to glory. That's why I asked you, how blessed are you? We know that we have heard many inspirational life stories that motivates our life. And definitely such stories will keep a positive vibe in our life too. Because there are so many people who are on the verge of disappointments and despair. But somehow when they happen to hear or read motivational speech by others in an article or in a audio or in a video, definitely it helps to wipe out the dull and lazy mind, and it helps to chisel the unpolished talent of a person, and it helps cherish the goodness hidden in you and to see life in its full way. And definitely such stories or inspirational stories motivates you to live with your dreams. This is very essential to lead a better life in our life too. I wanted to say about Evelyn Glennie in your 9th standard textbook, the next unit, Sound of Music. This Sound of Music, here, Evelyn Glennie, she is said to be a percussionist who listens to sound without hearing. Sometimes this sentence may create a doubt in you because she listens to sound without hearing it. How is it possible, isn't it? So here we are going to deal with an inspiring motivational story of Evelyn Glennie. Talking much about her full name is Dame Evelyn Elizabeth Ann Glennie. She was born in the year 1965 on July 19, and she is a Scottish percussionist performing internationally with a wide variety of orchestras and contemporary musicians. She was elected as one of the 2 laureates for the Polar Music Prize of 2015. And what made her to be in such a position is her determination and willpower. And she is of the opinion that willpower can abstain any disability. Okay? So just have a look on the history of Evelyn. She is the first musician to maintain a full-time career as a solo percussionist. She is a public speaker, consultant, presenter, and advocate for humanitarian causes. The first instruments were the mouth organs and the clarinet. She has been profoundly deaf since the age of 12 and having started to lose her hearing from the age of 8. This does not inhibit her ability to perform at an international level. She regularly plays barefoot during both live performance and studio recordings to feel the music better. I think you have got somehow some idea about who this Evelyn is all about. And I told you that definitely this is going to be a great motivation, an inspiring story for you to chisel out what innate talent is hidden in you. And already we have seen that she is deaf, one who cannot hear. That's why in the introduction I told that she listens to music without hearing it. Okay? Because she is deaf. But how she learns music is through the vibration that she experiences with her body. Okay? So, we are going to deal with the lesson Sound of Music, Part 1, Evelyn Glennie. Okay? All of you take your textbook and listen carefully as you go through your text as I read and give explanation about this. Okay? And what we see in the beginning of your text There is a beautiful expression said by someone that God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. This is a comment made by an anonymous person, but what she says here is, what is that? God may have taken her hearing capability, but she can sense music more than we do. She senses music through her senses. Okay? And we hear music, but she senses music through her body. That is the difference that we can see in us and this Evelyn Glennie. Okay? So, here is a very beautiful account of her life. Okay? Take your textbook, and we see today I would like to deal with the first 3 paragraphs of our textbook. Okay? Take your textbook and listen carefully the first paragraph. Russia crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibration of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Okay? So what we see in the first paragraph is, rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibration of the approaching train. So in the initial paragraph, what we see here is Evelyn at the railway station. And she is now highly excited as she is going to join the Royal Academy of Music in London, and her age is 17. Okay? Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. That means here she is waiting for the train in a railway station. That too in underground. And the railway station is fully crowded, and people started pushing here and there, but she was just expecting the arrival of the train, and she is listening to the arrival of the train with the vibration that she receives through her feet. Okay? So here the scene opens in the railway's platform. Here it is underground, and we see that there is huge rush at the railway station, and in between there is a very thin girl of, what is the age mentioned here? See, she is 17, isn't it? And she is waiting there for the train. And she feels the vibration of the approaching train. And she realizes that the train is about to come. Okay? And she is getting ready. And she was also very much excited and nervous. Why she is so excited and nervous? Because she is going to London. For what? To join in where? Join in Royal Academy of Music. Okay, that is a great excitement for her. Okay, and now, here we see that vibration of the approaching train. And before she goes to London, she belongs to which place? To Scotland. Okay, so at present, while she was talking about, maybe she is waiting at Scotland railway station. Okay, so she is very nervous because she is leaving her hometown Scotland to London to learn what? Music, to join in Royal Academy of Music. Okay, so anyhow we see that this girl is waiting in the railway station. She is highly excited as she is ready to join the Royal Academy of Music in London. And she is so nervous that she leaves her hometown Scotland to London in order to join. We already have seen that she is 17 years of age, and she understands the arrival of train, feeling the vibration of the train's arrival. Okay, then let's continue. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. So why she is so excited here? Already we have seen that she is highly excited. Why she is highly excited? Because she is a girl from a Scottish place or Scottish farm where people cannot just think about joining in such an institution. Okay, and she is fresh. She is very new to this place, and she was more excited also, isn't it? And also she is from a land which has more farms and countryside. So definitely, because of all this scenario of life that she experienced so far, it's going to be totally different from what she experienced, isn't it? London town, especially Royal Academy of Music, it's not going to be like the Scottish village or countryside, which is full of farms and all. Okay, that's why she says that she is fresh from a Scottish family. She is a new girl. So maybe very few who has gone there. She is going to be the one among them. Okay, and now daunting means, what is the meaning of daunting? Daunting means frightening, scary. Already we have seen that Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for a teenager. Daunting enough means what? She's very scary about going there, how situation is going to be. She's a bit frightened, okay, about going there, thinking about the situation there. Okay, and who is a teenager? Teenager means a person who is in his teen, maybe 17 or 18 years of age. She is in 17 years of age, so she is said to be a teenager. Okay, let's continue. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Now, why she was so aspiring, a bigger challenge that she faced in her life? Already she said that she is from a Scottish place, Scottish farm, countryside. For that reason, she is nervous. Now, she considered this opportunity as a great challenge to her life. Okay, why? Because it says that this aspiring musician, what is aspiring means? Aspiring means a person who wishes to be a musician. Okay, now she is on the verge of being a musician. She is standing in the railway station waiting for the train to come. She says that it's going to be a great challenge in her life. Why? Because she is profoundly deaf. That means she is absolutely deaf. What is deaf? She doesn't have the capacity to hear things. She is deaf. She can't hear. Profoundly deaf means absolutely she is deaf. Okay. So, then the next paragraph, let's see. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Her mother remembers noticed something that was wrong when her 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard, says Evelyn Glennie. So now, slowly she starts her story. The narrator starts her story that actually my mother noticed me that I am getting deaf at the age of 8. It says that Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Slowly and steadily, she lost all her power of hearing. And says that there was one incident that she is highly portraying. What is that? Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. There was one incident that happened. Maybe she was waiting to call her name to play what? To play piano. When her name was called, she is not moving. And she stands there because she didn't hear her name being called. Okay. So, that incident, notifies her mother that she is having the disability of hearing. Okay. And they call her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized, this is said by her mother. What is the name of her mother? Her mother's name is Isabel, isn't it? Isabel Glennie. And she says that I suddenly realized she hadn't heard. And mother is the first person to identify that she is having some problem related to ear, isn't it? So she says that the first incident, she recollects one incident when Evelyn was 8 years of age. She says that Evelyn was waiting for her turn to play the piano, but when her name was called, she didn't move, isn't it? That moment, mother realized that she is having some problem with hearing. Okay, and let's continue. For a quiet while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers. So, from that time onwards, when she understood that she is having some problem related to hearing, she started to hide the deficiency of hearing from her teachers and friends. Okay, she doesn't want to tell them that I have deaf or I am deaf, I'm getting deaf. And by the time she was 11, see, at the age of 8, her mother recognized that she is having the disability of hearing. But she concealed, or she thought of hiding this disability from her teachers and friends up to the age of 11. Maybe for around 3 years, she was not taken any medical treatment for this deafness. So what happened? But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. So when she was 11 years of age, her marks were getting very lesser. So teachers started checking on her, and they identified that she is having some problem. So what happened? The headmistress just called her mother and told her to give medical treatment. Okay, to test her, to take her to a specialist. So mother took her to a hospital to check her deafness, and it was discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. Now, when mother took her to a specialist, she understood that her hearing was severely impaired or lost as a result of, what was the reason? Gradual nerve damage. Okay, and she had lost the sense of hearing. So here we see that because of this nerve damage, she lost the sense of hearing. Okay, so what was the response of the teachers? Okay, and now they were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. And what was the response of the teachers? When teachers or the headmistress of the school came to know that she is a deaf girl who totally lost her hearing capacity, they demanded that just put a hearing aid and send to a school for the deaf. So the teachers or the headmistress advised her mother to send this Evelyn to a school for deaf. But we see that what she says here is everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. So you can just imagine how the situation of a girl will be like, isn't it? 11 years of age, and all these years she was learning in a normal school along with the rest of the students or children, and she might have enjoyed her level best, isn't it? Now the teacher or the headmistress says that she should be admitted in a school specially designed for the students like her who lost the power of hearing, isn't it? So she says that it's going to be like everything suddenly looked black. That means she lost all her hope. But what the next paragraph says that she was not going to give up. And here we see the real Evelyn. Even though she understood that she lost all her power of hearing, or she is a disabled person in hearing, or she is a deaf girl, but here comes the determination that she holds on. And she says that she was not going to give up. She doesn't want to surrender her life as a deaf person. What happened? Here we see that she was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. So what she decided? She decided to lead a normal life and pursue. Pursue means what? To follow her interest in music. Already we have seen that the age of 8, she was waiting for her name to be called for playing what? Piano. From that age onwards, or from her childhood onwards, she was very much interested in what? Interested in music. And here also she says that once her headmistress just advised her mother to take her to a school designed for deaf children, she thought that no, I am not going to give up. I am not going to lose all my hope. She is well determined, and she says that I will lead a normal life and pursue or follow my interest in music. I'll continue my music interest. Okay, I'll give life back to my interest in music. Okay, and now what inspired her is the next sentence says that one day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. What happened? And the inspiring thing is from a girl. One day as she was standing there, or she happened to see a girl playing what? Xylophone. Xylophone is the picture given here, and this is also an instrument. Okay, and she happened to see this one, and Evelyn thought that I also wanted to play this xylophone. Actually, in the beginning I told you that she is a percussionist. Actually, who is a percussionist? One who plays all instruments or vibrating instruments. Okay? Percussion instruments means all instruments which have vibrating effect. Okay? So here, she happened to see a girl playing what? Xylophone. She also thought that I also wanted to play this xylophone. But what happened? Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. So what happened? All the teachers in the school discouraged her, telling that you cannot hear the sound, so how can you play this instrument? But there was one teacher who is a percussionist. I told you who is a percussionist. Percussionist means a person or musician who plays all vibrating instruments. Vibrating instruments like, what is that? Drums, tabla, everything, all these things. Xylophone is also a vibrating instrument. So already we have seen that she was experiencing things to her senses, through her senses. So when all other teachers discouraged her from playing this xylophone, one teacher, percussionist teacher, Ron Forbes, spotted her potential. He understood that she was very much interested in playing this one. The meaning of the percussionist also is given there in your textbook. A person who plays drums, tabla, etc. A person who plays different musical instruments. Okay? And he understood her potential or ability that she has inherited, or she just grows her in her mind for playing this one, and he decided to do something. Okay, she was very passionate about this one, isn't it? And he decided that let me help her. He began by tuning 2 large drums to different notes. So what he did is, he thought of just designing 2 large drums with different notes. Okay, when these different drums were played, she need to understand these 2 different notes. So what happened? So the sound produced by this drum will be different. So one drum was adjusted with 1 note, and the other drum was adjusted with another note. So the sound will be different. And if she could able to understand the difference between these 2 sounds, she can just do amazing music, isn't it? So then he gave one, opinion also, one advice also. What is that? Don't try to listen through your ears. He would say, try to sense it some other way. So he is the one who instigated her to spot things or to accept the sound of music through different parts of her body. Because he said, don't listen through your ears. He would say, try to sense it some other way. You have to sense the sound of music through some other means. So what happened? Evelyn says, suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower from the waist down. So she is just trying to incorporate her parts of body with the sound of music. And when these two drums were being played, she says that the higher drum sound she could experience from the upper side of her waist, the part of her body, and the lower one from the waist down. So she is recognizing the sound of music through her parts of body, especially from the waist, which is your waist in between your thighs and your stomach, isn't it? So here it says that with the upper side of the waist, she recognized the sound produced by the larger drum, and with the down part of the waist, she could sense the vibration of the music played by the lower drum. Okay, and that was taught by whom? By the percussionist Ron Forbes. Okay, and she was given the training to sense music through her parts of body. Okay, so what happened? This Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. So from that time onwards, she started identifying the music with different parts of her body. Now she says that I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibration. The rest was sure and determination and hard work. So she says that now I got a point to learn music. What is that? I learned to open my mind and body to what? To sounds and vibration. That's why the initial part of your textbook, it was written, someone has made a comment. What was that comment? God has taken her hearing, but she could sense the sound of music with her senses. Isn't it? What a very beautiful quote which was given, that God may have, see the first, just below the heading, it was given, God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What was that extraordinary? The ability to sense music and sound with mind and her body. Can you able to, let me ask you the question once again, my dear children, can you able to sense any music or sound after closing your ear and sense this music with the body part? Is it possible? Is it possible for us to sense the sound of music with the body parts apart from the ear? We can't, isn't it? Because we are not putting ourselves to this ambience. For her, this is the only option to love music. Okay? So, this is what our first 3 paragraphs just talks about. I think you understood what it was all about. Okay, thank you all. Have a great day.